And then we get into the personalities of these mermaids. I am a vegetarian. I only eat seaweed. Okay, get
only
that lobster out of here.
only eat the best kelp around.
So, Steven,
Yes, sir.
talk to me about mermaids. Where do you think they come from?
Uh, research.
They come from research.
Yes,
They were born of research.
they were born of drugs and research.
Yeah.
No, from what I've read, is the first known stories came from Asria, now known as Syria, in 1000 BC.
What was it? Some goddess or something like that? Oh, that's the story, right? The goddess of.
Yes, that goddess.
The goddess of Atargatis fell in love with the mortal and unintentionally killed him, but the water wouldn't conceal her beauty. She then turned to a mermaid. It's almost like the same origin story for the conception of giants. David and Goliath. The giants were conceived when angels mated with humans on Earth. Kind of like that. So she's a goddess. She fell in love with the mortal. Almost same correlation there.
Sure. But yeah. So, but after all this time, mermaids evolved into what we know now known as Ariel.
Yeah, different cultures have like different takes on mermaids, and as far as the way they perceive them, and if they're good, bad. Tell me, you know anything about the Africans and how they perceive mermaids, right?
Kind of, but enlighten me.
Yes. No. The Africans' perception of mermaids is, it's very bad. It's actually, anytime a mermaid is spotted in African folklore, it's always, to bring upon death and luring people to their deaths. And, it brings upon natural disasters, all kinds of things like that. So,
Sounds fun.
yeah. Yeah.
They sound like the life of the party.
Yeah. And then, British people's perception of it, leave it to the white people.
Oh, the whites.
Leave it to the whites.
Whites.
Leave it to the white people to be like, nah, bro, they sexy as hell.
They sexy.
Yeah, they're already lubed up.
But how would you do that?
I don't know. When I was a kid, and I watched
You the mermaid.
No. No, when I was a kid and I watched like The Little Mermaid and everything, and she ended up having a kid and everything. I was like, how did she have a kid? Did she take her pants off?
Didn't she turn human?
Oh, she did.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we're gonna X this whole part out.
No, we're keeping it. We're keeping it.
So the origins of mermaids, you say?
Wait. First, let me ask you this. If you had the choice, would you become a mermaid?
I mean, what are the pros and cons? Okay, you actually no. That's an absolute no from the get-go,
Why
because
not?
I am deeply terrified of the ocean. Number one. So
Wait,
even if I
you
had
scared of the ocean?
yes, even if I had the ability to swim to the bottom of the ocean, I would not do it. Just the sheer fear of what lurks in those waters. It's almost like space, dude. Like, we don't know what's there, what's not. Have you seen some of the footage of things that we've seen in the ocean? Like, no. So to answer your question, no. If I could become a mermaid, I would not. And another thing is, mermaids actually, if scientifically mermaids were to be a thing, they would not look like what
Oh, hell no.
they would not
No,
look like what we generally perceive mermaids as, like in the Little Mermaid. Oh, she's beautiful, red hair, covered up.
Curious?
Yeah, no, but actually, scientifically, if mermaids were to exist, they would have to be pretty
Ugly.
Yes, because they'd have to have skin that's able to adapt to the cold temperatures
Scales.
and like the salt water and everything that would rot away your skin and everything like that. They'd have to have skin that would be able to adapt to that. They would also have to have an adequate amount of seal and walrus like blubber to be able to withstand the cold temperatures of the ocean and whatnot. Unless of course they lived on the surface, which they don't, because we don't see them that often.
That often.
Yeah, supposedly. we don't see them at all.
Your theory about the skin, well, what scientists say about the skin and everything, is what makes the Japanese mermaid seem so realistic.
What Japanese mermaid are you talking about?
The corpse that they have in a temple, where it looks like a mermaid. It is part humanoid, part fish.
That sounds like the mermaid that they have on display at Ripley's Believe It or Not museum. That was also part of P.T. Barnum's display back in the day. So tell me about it.
I believe P.T. Barnum got his mermaid thingy. His mermaid thingy.
Whatever you call it. What did it look like? You tell me what you're talking about, and I'll tell you what I saw in the Ripley's Believe It or Not museum.
Okay. What I'm talking about is it's probably 3 feet. It's mummified pretty much, and you can see top half. It is humanoid-like, dried skin, dark skin, and bottom half is a fishtail.
Yeah, nope. That's the exact description of what I saw. So apparently there's correlation between P.T. Barnum and this Japanese mermaid that you're talking about.
Could be.
So, but that was way back. I don't know. I saw that a long time ago, and I remember reading that was way back in the 1800s. So,
yes.
Why is it being brought to light now?
Because as of right now, scientists are trying to figure out what it actually is.
What do you mean?
So they're trying to do a CT scan on it and see if it's actually a mermaid or if it's some sort of hoax.
Okay, so but I'm not quite like wrapping my head around it. How come they haven't done a CT scan on it all this time?
I believe it's because they kept it in a temple, somewhere in Japan, Injui Temple. I think that's what it's called. And it was used for worship, and really no one could get to it.
That's odd. That's odd that it would be that it would be an object of worship, because that might be probably the only culture that would keep something like that as an object of worship, seeing as other cultures view mermaids as bad
omens.
Yeah, omens. For example, in Africa, anytime a mermaid was to be seen or anything like that, it brings about bad weather, natural water disasters, disappearance of men, and the mermaids in Africa, they're in the rivers and lakes and everything like that. So anytime someone goes to fetch water or whatever, they would be on the lookout for mermaids because they're bad omens.
See, what's odd about that though, a couple other Asian cultures see them as good omens as well as the Japanese. If you look at Korea, they look at them as like goddesses that warn fishermen of sea storms and impending doom.
Oh, so it's just a matter of perception. Either way, somebody's getting wrecked.
Yeah.
She either warns you or she brings it.
Hey, she might bring it, and then she might be like, hey, sorry about that.
Yeah. No, there's also mermen too, right? That's a whole nother topic to get into. Is the culture nowadays seems to just glorify mermaids. They never talk about men.
Yeah.
So okay, so back to this Fiji mermaid you were talking about.
No, you're talking about the Fiji mermaid.
Yes. Oh, so yeah, I was talking about the Fiji mermaid. Yeah, I didn't really catch an origin of it. So has the research or anything revealed what it actually is or anything like that?
I believe they've done their research, yes, and it revealed that it actually is just part monkey and part fish, which is disappointing.
Yeah, that is disappointing. So they just sewed together a fishtail and a poor monkey.
Yes, and Oh, I hope they didn't kill a monkey for
I
that.
know
shit,
that would have
dude.
been horrible. But that couldn't have been the actual story when it was being put on display, both in Japan and in PT Barnum's display. So they had to have some kind of backstory. So, oh, we caught this, or
Well, it is believed that back in 1736 to around 1741, roughish, because no one really knows. That it was caught in a fishing net off of a small Japanese island.
well, Asians be lying about anything.
Of course we do.
What nuke?
This is Japan, man. They got a lot of weird stuff going on
They
there.
do have a lot of weird stuff. Japan has a lot of stuff about omens. If you ever notice, like you read up on their culture and everything, they have a lot of stuff about omens. Like it's almost like they just want bad to happen
No.
to them all the time.
No, you won't know. A lot of Vietnamese people have a lot of bad omens.
I ain't never heard a Vietnamese person talk about a mermaid though.
No, but I'm just talking about like,
Superstitious, very superstitious. I think I would say the whole Asian race is very superstitious.
So you know what my mother told me?
What?
You should not have a big tree in the front of your house.
What? Why?
Apparently, it's supposed to bring in bad spirits or something, or bad luck. I'm not sure. I'd never really asked her, but I'm like, what?
Okay. Well, my wife tells me you shouldn't have a big tree in the front yard, because roaches.
What?
So, because tree roaches fly into the house and everything.
Huh, I've never heard of a tree roach.
That's where roaches come from. You think they just get born inside of a house?
Maybe. No, I never knew that. Oh no.
It's the cultural differences are crazy. So yeah, so different cultures perceive mermaids in different ways. We hit on the African perception of mermaids. The Japanese and the various Asian
Korean.
cultures that believe in mermaids and perceive them in a certain way. British, I remember that like British people back in the day viewed mermaids as bad as well, except they put their own twist on it, as in like mermaids are seductive and that's how they
Sexy ass mermaid.
they're beautiful.
Look
They
at that
seduce
fish
you.
tail.
And you can actually see that when you watch one of the, I forget which movie it was, but the Pirates of the Caribbean scene where they're on the rowboat and everything, and the mermaid comes up and she seduces him, starts singing a lullaby and everything like that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
once he's very, very close to breaking the water and practically following her in, then the mayhem starts, man. They just start going crazy trying to kill him. That sums up women. So if my wife hears this, I love you.
No, we're cutting that part.
My wife was like, hey, what you got going on tomorrow when I'm at work? I said, Steven's coming over. We're recording an episode for the podcast. She just immediately started talking shit about me. So back at you.
Back at you, bitch. Bitch.
She says she likes goofy men. Whoa, come here, bitch.
Come here.
So did you say, what were you telling me earlier? You said some lady was rumored to have eaten a mermaid.
Yeah.
What's the whole thing behind that?
So in Japan, couple years back, not a couple hundred years back, this lady, I don't know how, ended up accidentally consuming a piece of mermaid flesh, and she ended up living for just 800 years.
A measly 800
Yeah,
years.
just 8.
So my question is, how do you accidentally eat mermaids?
The dude that sold it to was like, this that good
This is mermajuana. Oh man.
Would you want to live forever?
Absolutely not.
It's terrifying.
Why would you want to live forever and just live? Dude, 2020 was bad enough to live through multiple things like that.
And
Yeah. And to watch all your loved ones die.
No.
And then have to make connections with more loved ones and then watch them die as well.
Imagine how many mortgages you have to go through.
How many times are they going to sell my mortgage? And then you become a mermaid. If I became a mermaid to live forever, all of a sudden now I got rent in Atlantis. Oh, Neptune.
Oh, Neptune.
This dude.
But I don't understand how eating mermaid flesh will help you live forever.
It's all about perception, I guess. Because if someone in Africa ate mermaid flesh, they're dying forever. They go on a continuous loop of dying.
Someone in England eats it, they're as hell.
I've been seduced. And thus was the conception of Viagra.
Yes, all Viagra is mermaid.
Cialis. You get it? The sea.
Yes, it's all mermaid.
I can only imagine how back in the day, like just when the world was getting on its feet and everything, and people were just starting to sail across the oceans and everything, you know, like Christopher Columbus, all of them. If any of them had at any point, like, you know, if they were in the water and they saw anything resembling like a dolphin or a manatee or something like that, that was, you know, the birth of this concept of, hey, what if that was half human, bro?
Be like, yeah, you're on a boat for like how long? Months?
Yeah, you get delusional, especially when, you know, you get seasick, you get delusional.
Scurvies.
You start starving, and then most of all, the dehydration is what sets in the delusion, the hallucinations.
And then
that could even be the origin of, you know, they sing these beautiful lullabies. You could just be hallucinating the entire thing.
You could just be in the middle of a storm and you're just hearing the wind or something.
Yeah.
But speaking of, apparently Christopher Columbus saw a mermaid.
Did he?
Yeah.
No, tell me about it.
I don't know much. I didn't read that much into it, but apparently he was on a trip to the Americas, and I think
Puerto Rico or Costa Rica.
goes Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know. There's stories about him coming across mermaids and telling people stay away from them and how they're evil and stuff. But so did Blackbeard.
Wait, you're saying Blackbeard was a real person? What? I thought Blackbeard was just a Pirates of the Caribbean character.
No, Blackbeard's real, dog.
Dang.
You didn't know?
No. Enlighten me, please. You are the expert here.
I am no expert, but from what I've read, it's not much on them. There's like not much stories on either of them, but it's just pretty much the same. They've seen mermaids and they tell tales about how they're bad. They like try to sink you. They try to bring you down under to Australia.
The worst place you could possibly go. Australia.
We're just on every country.
Yes. The worst place you can go, Australia. You know why? Because everything there tries to kill you. So my best man
the
Brady
mermaids.
says, yeah. But that's interesting. I didn't even know Christopher Columbus
was real.
Yeah, I knew Christopher Columbus was real. I know he was a lion-ass piece of shit. He was a lion. A sea lion.
That's a lion.
But yeah, it must have been crazy to be sailing for that long and everything, especially without the technology that we have to sail today, man. Those trips must have been long. And not to mention, you know, the rat infestations on those ships and everything.
Screw rats. I hate them.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But yeah, you're like on the boat for like months on end with the same people and with limited food, water, all sorts of, and then diseases.
Yeah, sickness was a big thing on those things, and even if you know didn't succumb to the dehydration, the starvation and all that, some kind of sickness was going to get to you. Well, they had all gotten sick with, what was it, typhus or something like that way back in those days.
Tylenol. Yes.
with
Yeah.
Tyler.
What?
Tyler.
Tyler. Oh, Tyler. I hate Tylers.
But
Yeah.
yeah. So it could have very well been a situation of people just hallucinating these mermaids and everything. I think manatees were a big thing in the past.
Manatees.
Yeah, manatees,
dolphins.
because manatees like to rest on the surface, and that's why anytime you see a manatee these days, if it's not a relatively young manatee, they have these ginormous scars across their back because they rest on the surface so much that boats just run over them. And no, that's a real thing. If you look it up, manatees actually just about all of them have these ginormous scars across their back because, as they're resting on the surface, they don't hear boats coming and they just get run over by these boats. And but so imagine a sailor back in the day, or you're an explorer back in the day, and you run over something like that, but you didn't see it. You didn't quite see it.
Yeah.
And by the time you hit it, it's gone.
Yeah.
All sorts of rumors start to fly. That was a person.
Hey.
I saw a tail though. That was a mermaid.
That was a mermaid person.
Yeah, that was a mer person. See, all of them.
Oh no.
Yeah, all of them have these scars going across their back from boats just running over them.
So sad, dude.
Yeah, but see, imagine that lying on the surface.
Oh yeah. Aren't they like endangered or something?
I have no clue. No, I have no. Not extinct.
That doesn't.
Yeah, manatees are protected under the Endangered Species Act, so they are an endangered species, which I could see why, because some of these boats be heavy.
Some of these boats. Speaking of boats, you see Jeff Bezos' super yacht?
I did see that. What was it?
90
billion or million? Or?
million, I think.
Oh,
Well, I don't. It was something crazy.
damn! Imagine hitting a manatee with that. We hit manatees in style over here.
It's built somewhere overseas though, which is weird.
Here's another thing for you. Here's another question for you. Say a mermaid was to officially come into existence. We actually acknowledge it, just like the giant squid. The giant squid's real now.
Oh yeah.
So say mermaids have officially come into existence. Are they protected under animal acts or human acts?
Ooh, that's a good one. Oh, I don't. It depends on how smart they are.
Okay. So you'd have to say they'd have to be they have to be intelligent creatures.
If they're like intelligence, then I would say human.
But listen to this: monkeys are intelligent.
That's true.
Primates are intelligent.
That's very true.
You know what else is intelligent? Pigs.
Yeah.
Pigs have problem-solving abilities of a 10-year-old.
Real 10?
Yes. So I've read. And
We some dumb 10-year-olds.
Yes, they just taste amazing. So screw them. So that brings up the topic. So if they're intelligent, are they still protected under the human?
I mean, depends on their level of intelligence though.
And does it also depend on what they look like?
Like, here's the thing. Okay, right? So if we're thinking like, fantasy mermaids and stuff, right? They're like beautiful humans and fish thingies. And they could communicate with us and they know language, speech, all that stuff. Then it's still hard because like monkeys could still communicate with us.
Yes. And then, okay, so let's bring it back. You said, we see them as beautiful creatures and everything. That's how we see it. So listen to this. What if they're what I described it as earlier on? What if they're blubbery, they're hideous? Would we still treat them like humans?
No. Because humans are shallow as...
Yes, that's exactly where I'm getting to. Another thing is, if they were to suddenly come into existence and if they can intelligently communicate with us, regardless of how they look, how far along is it until we start weaponizing them?
Give about 30 minutes.
Yeah. And then So you think you get into weaponizing? Oh, we need you to go sabotage this ship.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Go sink the sub.
Or do we start another thread of communication with them as far as ocean research? What do you know about the ocean?
I think scientists will go that way.
Scientists will go that way.
Government
will go another way.
Yeah.
Military will go another way.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
So I believe scientists would be like, hey, tell us everything you guys can about the deep ocean and everything that we might not know about. Atlantis might be real and they might know where it is. And then extinct species that might still be alive that they know about. Megalodons. Who knows?
That would be my question for him. So if you had a question, my question would be, first of all, how old are you? And if you are old enough, did you ever get to see a megalodon? Is it everything that we humans cook it up to be?
Here's the thing. How long do you think a mermaid could live?
That's another thing, So if we're grounding this right here and we're bringing them into existence, they'd have to be at the bottom of the food chain. If they are human,
if they're human, then
they have got to be at the bottom of the food chain, aside from plankton that gets sucked up into a whale's mouth.
Okay, but what I'm talking about is their lifespan. Let's say they have no predators or anything, and they're just,
which would be hard to believe.
Yeah, but let's say that, right? How long do you think they could live? Because some fish, they live a long time.
Yes.
Because the coelacanth, right?
Yes.
The living fossil.
Yeah, it's crazy. And jellyfish are, I think, the only creature on this planet that just lives forever, right? Is that right? Jellyfish.
I'm not sure about that.
I'm
Look it up.
Pretty sure jellyfish are immortal. The immortal jellyfish. To date, there's only one species that has been called biologically immortal, the jellyfish. These small, transparent animals hang out in oceans around the world and can turn back time by reverting to an earlier stage of...
Okay, it seems like some never die.
Yeah, okay. So, could it be like the jellyfish, that one jellyfish that, is deemed as immortal because as it's getting to its later stages of life, it reverts back to earlier stages of life?
That could be.
We'd have to... It would all depend on the anatomy, and it would also be interesting to cut into a mermaid if it were to exist, to see the anatomy, the way the organs lie, the way they receive their oxygen.
Yes.
Because would they
would they have lungs?
Yeah, would they have lungs? Would it work like a dolphin and a whale where they have to come up to the surface every now and then for air? How long could they?
They got blowholes in the top of their head.
How do they excrete waste would be another one. We never really hear about that.
Do they reproduce?
They have to reproduce. They have to reproduce. Do they lay eggs or do they
do it the salmon way?
What's the salmon way?
Where the female, they just lay the unfertilized egg, right? And the male comes by and then just shoots the sperm on the eggs.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
You remember the Magic School Bus?
Yes.
There's a scene of that, yeah.
Yeah, so... God, are you serious?
Look it up. I swear.
Dude, the Magic School Bus was wildin' back in the day.
Dude, look it up. It's crazy.
They could be up our right now and we wouldn't know.
Look it up right now. It's crazy. Put Magic School Bus salmon.
Oh God, yeah. He's in an egg?
Yeah, they're in the egg.
Oh my God.
Watch it.
No.
Watch it.
Minute long clip. Oh God.
Yeah.
I am
mortified.
I am terrified. I am petrified.
Was it from the early 2000s? No one gave a
Yeah, truly. And we were too young to know.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that brings up, how would they reproduce? Would they do it the salmon way? Which, my goodness, please don't. Would they? Don't some fish have some kind of courting ritual or something like that? Or is that just birds?
I think that's just birds.
Okay. Would they reproduce
seahorse style?
Yeah. Would they reproduce asexually? Yeah. Would it be seahorse style where the male carries?
Or starfish style?
Yeah. Would they have? Yeah, that's asexual, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then yeah, then seahorses also have the pouch as well.
Yeah, but the male holds on to the eggs,
Yeah,
and it hatches in the male.
yeah. But if we're talking, human anatomy and everything like that, they would either have to lay eggs or they would have to give birth like mammals, like a dolphin.
Yeah, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah,
I can't see that.
Ah, yeah, and that would go along with how they excrete waste. If it all just comes out as liquid, if it comes out as solid.
Or, like sharks, they pee through their skin.
What?
Certain rays, I believe, sharks and rays pee through their skin.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Also, another thing is when a theoretical mermaid were to engage in vigorous physical activity, do they sweat?
This is like, is water wet?
Yeah. Do they sweat? How do they? Yeah. So it would be interesting to cut into one.
Okay.
And see the anatomy and how things work.
Okay, and if they have the human anatomy, right? Do they get fat?
Good question. How many calories do you burn swimming though?
How many calories do they need to consume?
That too, yes.
And what do they eat?
What would their diet be? Would it be a human diet? Would it be a fish diet?
Would they eat are they omnivores, carnivores?
Would they eat seaweed as part of their vegetation?
Oh yeah, they getting that good seaweed.
Yes. and then we get into the personalities of these mermaids. I am a vegetarian. I only eat seaweed, okay? Get that lobster out of here.
I only eat the best kelp around. And are they petty like humans?
Yes. Are they petty like humans? Because dolphins, as we know, are very intelligent creatures. They have, ultrasound communication, which is why dolphins can actually
communicate.
Yeah, they actually can tell when a human is pregnant because they have ultrasound.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes,
that's cool.
Is that how they would communicate underwater? Is that how a mermaid would communicate underwater? Could they communicate with other creatures like that, or if they talk?
This is all crazy, but here's the thing. With every myth and legend and stuff, there's always an origin to it. Mm-hmm. There's always a reason that's a story. And I wonder, how this all actually, started. We said, around 10,000 BC in Syria and stuff, but, is that how it actually started?
Yeah. When the world was young, though, there was no shortage of imagination.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
No one knew anything.
Nowadays, you say, hey, what if this was a thing? Someone's already thought of it. Someone's already written a legend about it, a mythology about it, something like that, But back in the day, back in the young world, there was no shortage of imagination. If this came from someone just, kids are very creative when it comes to imagination.
Oh, yeah.
It could very well have been, a kid saw a fish. Oh, I saw a fish. I see two eyes. I see a mouth. It had to be part human. Yeah. Just all kinds of stuff could have gone into the origins of these things.
But looking at it through history, it's changed so much.
Yeah, it evolves. It's I forget what the theory's called in psychology, where you start with a few people on a line. They all sit shoulder to shoulder. The first person whispers into the second person's ear. That second person will whisper what he thought he heard into the next person's ear. And by the time it reaches the last person, it is a completely different message. And that's how that's how rumors, that's how legends and mythologies evolve over time. Almost like the Bible. So many interpretations of the Bible. You can't honestly say that the very first interpretation of it has translated all the way until now, because there's agendas that go to it. That's why these different cultures have different perceptions of different things like the mermaid, because it goes with their agendas, superstitions and whatnot,
bad omens, good omens.
Just it's all a matter of perception.
It could just be like you said, some kid is out on a boat with his dad or something, and then he looks in the water and he sees a giant fish, and then all he sees is the tail, and he thinks he sees a human body.
He could have seen a tail and it lined up perfectly with the reflection of himself in the water.
Yeah, or his dad, and
Yeah.
he's just like, mermaid.
Yeah, and that's crazy. It's just
It's-
how things get to be. I've always just wished I had the magic power to be able to time travel back into those days and just not be able to actually touch anybody or anything like that. Like if
You're just
to
like
be standing-
spectating.
yeah, just to be a spectator, just to be a floating fly on the wall type thing, you know, like
I would love that too.
yeah, it would be so cool to be able to go back in time and see the very first mention of a mermaid, of a half human, half fish. If it even
No.
was a fish,
Yes.
half human, half octopus.
Go back in time to where they first started talking about a minotaur.
Yeah,
Yeah, like that is crazy. Half man, half bull, and he's
Yes.
in a maze.
yeah, right. In a like, it's just crazy. too.
Imagine the minotaur story, right? It was like a man and his bull got lost in the maze.
It could have been just a petty rumor of bestiality. That man got horny, bro. I bet he made one. You know what
Oh,
I'm saying?
yeah.
I bet he made one.
It's like some
And
fucked up gossip
yeah, like oh, rumor has it, you know,
that Jerry.
like 4 or 5 generations ago, Jerry mated with a bull.
Yeah.
And if you go into that cave right there and you go venture deep enough into that maze, you will find his creation. Like,
And it will kill you. Sorry,
Yeah.
Jerry, if you hear this. Yeah, but I don't know. It's just a bunch of crazy stuff that could just have started with creative imaginations
Yeah.
or some messed up rumors. But like, okay, so what's one like mythology thing that you think is like real? That you have a strong feeling that it's actually real?
that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. What would you say?
I would, since the Kraken's already proven real,
Yeah, okay, yeah. The
Uh,
Kraken.
I have to say Bigfoot.
Bigfoot. Yes.
Bigfoot. Because,
Yes. You know what? So, I'm actually wearing a Bigfoot shirt right now. If you were to ask me what I realistically think Bigfoot was or is, people don't realize how tall a bear is when he stands on his hind 2 legs.
isn't it like 8 feet?
Something around that, yeah. And you know, who knows if there was a bigger one once upon a time
Yeah.
that, you know, reached maybe 10 feet tall or whatever. But when they stand on their hind legs, these are massive creatures.
They're scary.
Yes. And think about it, you know, the descriptions of these of a Bigfoot, you know, it's big, it's giant, hairy.
hairy.
Yeah, it's dark. Generally, it's dark.
Yeah, and the thing too is Bigfoot and the Yeti, which has white fur. Like,
Yes.
but like, here's the thing, right? In Asian countries, they see their own Bigfoots too.
Hmm.
So that's what kind of gets me.
Yeah, what kind of good? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy. The translation of these mythologies to different cultures that are on completely different continents on the other side of the world. How did you hear about it versus how you heard about it?
Yeah.
And their descriptions match up perfect.
Yeah, and that's why sometimes I'm just like, maybe this could be a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you were to ask me what I realistically thought it would be someone saw a bear. But then you get into that. You know, you got different stories or the same story on different continents, different places that all match up.
Yeah, and then yes, like you said, they match up, but there's also like variants of Bigfoot.
Yes.
Just not one Bigfoot, because like in Florida, there's the ape, the stink ape or something. I forgot what it's called, but apparently, when you're close to it, it lets off this like really hard musky smell,
Okay.
and like
That's something I actually haven't ever heard is what did you smell when you encountered this so-called Bigfoot? And if you did encounter it, how come you didn't pull out your phone?
That's what I hear a lot. It's like, why don't you pull out your phone? It's just like,
Yeah, but then again, you and me were walking in the woods and we encounter a real life Bigfoot. Are we frozen in fear?
hell yeah.
Yeah, so
Hell yeah.
do we pull out our phone or do we make a run for it?
It's literally fight or flight.
Yeah.
And we're flying.
I'm flying over there, okay? There ain't no fighting on Bigfoot.
Dead.
You had the footage of, a non-confrontational encounter with the Bigfoot running away.
Yes,
None
that.
of them are ever good quality.
But to be honest, to be fair, those are like way back then.
Yes, okay. But there's websites today, almost like a Dow Jones ticker of sightings of Bigfoot.
That's true. Yeah.
Where's the footage? Get us some footage.
But like we said, it's fight or flight. And now we have to, a lot of us want to protect ourselves first before we do anything.
Yes.
Not a lot of us are actually like outdoors. I don't give a I
True,
will fight this.
Then they have actual TV shows
Yeah.
called Finding Bigfoot, Finding
Oh,
Sasquatch,
don't
whatever
even
it is.
get me
Those
started.
fake documentary,
So-
found footage type shows.
No, I was watching this new show, right? It's called Alaskan Bigfoot or something, right? And it's about these 4 dudes, well, however many, because people come in and out, right? They are trying to reclaim this land that used to belong to their ancestor that got taken over by Bigfoot. And it's so fake. You can tell it's so fake. But
That
like,
just sounds fake.
yeah, but they stay there, right, for a month or so, and then they have people coming in and out. They have like demonologists, psychics, all sorts of stuff that says, "Oh, this is a bad place, this is bad juju stuff," right? And they get like rocks thrown at them and shit, right, and random fires that go out immediately.
So Bigfoot, as intimidating, as big, as menacing as it is, resorts to petty things like throwing rocks.
It's like, bro, you're sleeping in a tent. This man could just go in there and F you up.
If Bigfoot was as big as you say and he throws a rock at you, you best bet that is
No.
a bullet.
Okay, and in the last episode, right? The season finale, they like cleanse the land already, right? They get this weird ass gun that shoots smoke everywhere. And then it's like, oh, it's cleansed now. And then they built like a freaking hut, right? And then they're leaving to go back home for a bit, right? They get on the boat, they turn around, and then a fire a fire started at the hut and the hut's burning down.
Bro,
And it's like a setup for season 2.
watch Bigfoot be just as intelligent as humans and they're just watching it on TV.
Yeah, it's like, the
they,
fuck is this?
they love us, bro.
They love us.
Bro, you ever go to Gatlinburg? We're on t-shirts, bro. I've actually seen, we've seen all kinds of so-called footage of these creatures, Bigfoot, mermaid, Loch Ness, whatever,
Yeah.
I saw a video. It was, someone was just traveling along a beach or something like that, but it was a very stormy day. It was very stormy. It was gloomy, dark. There was, rain and thunder going and everything like that. And this might be one of the better quality videos you'll see of a supposed mermaid. So he's walking up and, he's just steady aiming at this rock with his camera.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he zooms in and you see a tail flopping.
I know what you're talking about.
Yes.
I've seen it.
And as soon as it thinks that it's been spotted or it seems that
It jumps at him.
yeah, it jumps into the water. It just swims away. All right, let's actually watch that video. This one right. It's in Israel. So here we go.
Oh yeah, I've seen this. They had like a whole documentary for it.
Yeah, a so-called mockumentary.
Yeah. Watch it been like a sea lion or something.
A what?
A sea lion.
Yeah.
Cause you've seen sea lions.
Yeah.
They got
Yeah.
them type of tails.
Yeah. What got me about that whole depiction of the mermaid in that video was the straight black hair.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of looked like the Grudge with a tail.
Again, going back to Japan.
Yeah. Wasn't it once they get on land or something? Don't they grow feet? Isn't that the?
I've never heard of that.
Ain't that what Ariel did? Or
No.
was that a curse?
She made a wish or something.
Oh.
You gotta rewatch Ariel, bro.
Sorry if I don't want to.
We're gonna be watching some Ariel tonight.
Even that footage right there looked as good quality as it was. It still looks like it could have been digitally.
No, this was CGI.
Definitely CGI.
This was CGI.
Yeah, I remember watching a documentary on. I can't remember if it was Discovery or Animal Planet or whatever. But at the time when I was watching it, I could not believe my eyes because it was a whole documentary on mermaids. And, they were in a submarine or whatever. And all of a sudden you see this webbed, hand slap against the glass and everything like that. And, at the time I'm a kid. I'm watching it on a show, which I thought, a legitimate channel and everything like that. And then turned out I got a little older and I happened upon an article talking about this mockumentary had the entire tinfoil hat community.
This is part of it.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, this was part of it. Because I remember watching it too, and I was like, they're real.
Absolutely,
they're
shook.
Freaking real. You can't tell me they're real.
Yeah, and so then I was like, dude, a channel like that putting out a mockumentary, I was actually shattered.
No, yeah, and I rewatched it and I was like, oh, it's fake. It's so damn fake.
Yeah, we should go back and watch it. But I would say maybe 12, 13, 14 when I watched it. I was
that's when it came out.
Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Yeah.
That's when it came out.
Yeah. And I still remember it to this day, that hand slapping up against the glass and everything.
I remember seeing
But they filmed it in such a way to where they were like, oh, they had to keep replaying just that part right there.
I'll tell you what though, them actors, they were some good actors.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like, that was devastating to find out. I thought we were onto something.
Nah.
Man.
I wish. Nah, but yeah, this was part of it, and it was all CGI, which sucks, but
yeah,
I got lied to.
Also, would a mermaid sleep like a shark, or would it rest like a human where it just stops moving?
It has a bed.
Yeah, it's got a seabed.
No, it has a water bed.
It's literally under a rock like Patrick Star with furniture and TV and everything.
Has a California king size bed.
Then on top of that, if say they're, because people say their top half is completely human, but I don't know how you could eat in the ocean if you had human teeth. You'd have to have sharp flesh ripping teeth because everything has protective layers under the ocean, especially like seals and
okay, what if it's like the reverse? What? Top half fish, bottom half human.
That's absolutely terrifying.
That is terrifying.
That's number one, terrifying.
Was it?
Number two, probably the shortest lifespan of any species we've ever seen.
Wasn't it on Family Guy where they made that joke?
I don't know.
It was on some show. It was a cartoon or something. I forgot, man. It was a long time ago.
Can you just imagine? You got the top half of a fish and the bottom half, just two legs.
You're just swimming.
Slowest swimmer on the planet. You are literally everybody's favorite meal in the ocean.
You're just a fish swimming and
no question, you actually though out of an asshole.
You're just fucking, a family's just swimming at the beach. A dookie is
Oh god.
Oh jeez.
And then you get into freaking weirdos. Oh, I caught me a fish on a boat by himself. And then them legs looking good. Start rubbing his hands together. Ain't nobody looking.
I mean, if that's true though, that's the reason why we haven't seen any.
Yeah, they're just the first thing to go.
Yeah.
When sharks wake up in the morning, let me go find one of them slow ass.
Has there ever been a mermaid scary movie type thing?
There has to have been. Has to. I'm sure there have been. Controversial topic.
Oh
this time.
no.
Topic of controversy. So we have the very recent situation with the transgendered female athlete
Yes.
dominating, not dominating. She actually had to make her way up there to get first place, but
People believe she had an advantage.
well, you can't say she hasn't, but
Yeah.
just height wise, just the length of her arms and legs and everything, that's the advantage. Anyway, we're getting off topic. With that recent controversy, now it's time to get theoretically controversial.
Okay.
Since we are, we're in a very progressive time and everything, if a mermaid were to decide, I want to join the Olympics.
Oh.
No, you're a mermaid. That's a dude. People are saying that's a dude. Other people saying no, that's a transgendered woman.
What's the
It's all about what you identify as.
what's the requirement?
There are no requirements. You just have to be that gender. That transgendered athlete who won is a female.
Okay.
So she competed with females.
Again, sorry to anyone that might be offended, but would a mermaid be in the Paralympics?
I wouldn't think so because she can actually, a mermaid could act like has function of their lower.
Okay, yeah, I see that.
Yeah,
I see that.
fully functional, but identify as female. Could I join as a female?
Okay, important question. Which country would they be a part of? Would they be the ocean and their only sport is swimming?
Whatever part of the world they're from, they have to have that accent.
Mermaid with a Vietnamese accent.
You got the fop, the fresh out the boat, me the food, fresh out the ocean.
Fresh out the ocean.
Fresh out the ocean. I just took a salt bath.
Salt bath.
Bro, but listen to this as well. Because you get the salt water and fresh water have different density levels. So if a mermaid were to enter...
Why do you know this?
What?
They have different density levels.
4th grade science, bro. You drop an egg into a salt and fresh water, one floats, one sinks.
Bro, I barely remember what happened 10 minutes ago. How do you...
But anyway, so does a mermaid swim better in fresh water, salt water? Would they have to have an entire column just salt water?
Yeah.
Because she can't survive in fresh water.
It's plexiglassed off.
Yeah, because she can't survive in fresh water and she decides she wants to join the...
Oh, what if it's like a new sport? Saltwater swimming. No, saltwater 400.
Let's theoretically invent a mermaid triathlon right now. So we start.
Whoa.
So we start with upper body, pull-ups, push-ups. All right, pull-ups and push-ups. All right, so let's say you'd have to hit a certain amount of pull-ups and push-ups, and then there's handlebars on the ground, staked to the ground, to where they have to grab each one with each hand and propel themselves on the ground. They can't use their fin yet, their tail yet. They have to propel themselves on the ground.
Oh, okay. We could just go a whole Olympics thing, right?
Okay.
Because
Okay.
high jump. They could do a high jump out the water.
Oh yes.
Yeah, they propel themselves up the water.
Yes. Just like how they treat
dolphins.
They horribly treat those creatures in SeaWorld.
Dolphins.
They do the high. Yeah. So yeah. Okay, we have the high jump. Obviously, the big competition, the bread and butter would be the swimming.
Yes, 400.
Yes.
200.
Okay, so we have the high jump.
Racing. Relay. It's just swimming, but in a circle.
Go in a circle.
Go in a circle.
Okay. Gymnastics, where you have to do certain flips out of the water and stuff.
They swim through hoops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, gymnastics does call for a lot of arm strength on the beams, when they're doing handstands and stuff like that. So you'd have to jump out the water and do a handstand on the beam.
Wait. Skeet shooting underwater. they shoot coral.
Okay. Water polo.
You mean polo?
Polo. Okay.
Underwater rugby.
Dude, how powerful and fast do you think they'd have to be to tackle someone underwater to cause them to fumble?
Let's see.
You'd have to be
50 miles.
You'd have to be torpedo-like.
50 miles, probably.
Yeah.
Damn, that's scary.
Another Olympic sport for them. Toss a ball in the air and let them flip their tail and hit it. Whoever can hit the ball the
Fucking, they're just becoming our pets now.
Yes. They are not intelligent. We're teaching them new tricks.
Be like, hit the ball. Hit the ball. You got it. Good mermaid. What would you call mermaid? Boy, girl? Good mermaid.
Another Olympic sport for mermaids. You tape their gills. See who can hold their breath the longest.
Oh no.
You were mean to me for the last time. I'm not taking this tape off.
Would they revolt against us?
I'm sure they would.
Like,
I'm sure if a band of 10 or 12 to 15 mermaids were to say, hey, let's sink that ship.
Yeah. It's like every time a boat comes on the water, sunk.
Yeah. And there would be nothing you could do about it
No.
except nuke the water. However,
That's a terrible idea.
yeah, and then if you would do that, then we'd deplete our
Oceans.
resources in the
Yeah.
water. Fish, don't ever do that. Like, please.
Oh,
Don't. The South could not survive without crawfish.
That's freshwater. Crawfish is freshwater. They're grown in ponds.
Sometimes if we nuke the ocean, all fresh water runs into the ocean.
But what if it's a pond?
Are we talking about mermaids that just live in the ocean?
I want some crawfish now.
Whoa. If you were to cook a mermaid,
How would you season it?
how many people could you feed? Would it be all bone?
Would you eat the top half?
Ooh.
Wait.
That's
Wha-
cannibalism.
Is it though?
Yeah.
Wait. What if a mermaid tried to change their species? So what's it called? It tries to cut off its tail and gets human legs. What's that called? Is there a word for it?
Like what a starfish does?
No, I'm talking about like it gets surgery to become 100% human.
I know there's gender reassignment.
Yeah, species reassignment.
Species reassignment.
Yeah, what if it wants a
Huh.
species reassignment?
Interesting.
Would that even be possible?
Seeing as, okay, would they have any kind of crucial organs in their bottom half as far as, reproductive?
Oh, that's true.
So you'd have to find a way to.
And if their top half is like completely different from ours.
Yeah, if it's nothing but just bone structure and meat, then I'm sure it could be.
Oh yeah.
Because legs are basically butt. If they were to excrete waste, it would have to be from their bottom half.
Well-
Yeah, unless they throw it up.
Wait, so speaking of organs and stuff, right? Their brains. What is that like? What would that be like?
Good question.
Would it kind of be like ours, where we only use a finite percentage, or they
Would it be half human, half fish brain? So where you have the instincts and the wherewithal of how to hunt underwater, how to survive underwater, and then you have the human half, where when you're above water, you can recognize human things.
That's
But the human brain is intelligent. You and me alone with our human brain could find out how to and survive underwater.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't be born with it.
No,
We'd have to learn it.
We would. And like, do they use tools?
Oh, that's a good question.
Spears. If they go hunting, do they have spears?
That's what.
Wait.
That's where I kind of got going with the teeth.
Yeah. But how would they get a spear?
Make it.
With what?
I'd say wreckage pieces.
True.
Pieces of wreckages.
True.
They could simply steal one from a harpoon.
Oh, what if they use wreckages as their homes? That would be crazy.
Let's write a book.
What?
Let's write a book. We venture down to visit.
Don't say nothing. We're gonna write about that.
The remnants of the Titanic, and inside it is an entire city or family.
There's just so much that we don't know about.
Yes, clearly whoever started these mermaid rumors were not thinking logistically. Could mermaids be lifeguards?
Yeah. That's if they're not like killers.
True.
That's like if they don't see humans and want to kill them.
True.
But they'd be great lifeguards, bro. Well, until
they have to slither through the 100 yards of beach.
Yeah, and they have to drag your ass up.
That would be the worst thing ever, to hire a lifeguard mermaid, because the seductive part of her was like, oh, I'd be a great lifeguard, and you're like, oh,
and you already know
you're
how
a lifeguard, right? And then she seduces you into getting a job, and the first person that drowns, she just drags them farther under and never comes back.
And be like, I don't know what happened to me. He slipped.
You said he slipped? No, he slept, bro.
He slept.
All right, that wraps it up for our first episode regarding mermaids. We didn't talk a whole lot about what we were supposed to talk about,
and that's the joy of it.
That's okay though. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining. Hopefully we'll see you or hear you or feel you for the next episode.
Okay, bye.